개병을 자서 마라. 병을 자서 마라.
I guess where's Anthony? Nobody know?
It's a retreat or something. Retreat?
I talked to Andrew and Claire, and I thought they were coming. I saw them at 2 or 3. So they, Ooh. So is this intro to Buddhism part 2? You said last week intro to Buddhism?
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
Thus I have heard. At one time, the Blessed One was dwelling in the royal domain of Altar Peak Mountain, with a great gathering of monks and a great assembly of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Blessed One was absorbed in the samadhi of the many aspects of phenomena called profound appearance. At the same time, noble Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva, looking at the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom, saw the 5 skandhas in their natural emptiness. Then, through the power of the Buddha, Venerable Shariputra said to the noble Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva, how should a son of a lineage trained who wishes to follow the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom? Thus he spoke, and the noble Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva answered the Putra with these words. Shariputra, those men and women of the lineage who wish to follow the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom should look at it like this. The 5 skandhas should be seen purely in their natural emptiness. Form is empty. Emptiness is form. Emptiness is not other than form. Form also is not other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, recognition, compositional factors, and consciousness are empty. Shariputra, like this, all phenomena are emptiness, and having no characteristics, they are unborn and unceasing. They are not impure or pure. They neither decrease nor increase. Therefore, Shariputra, in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no recognition, no compositional factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no appearance, no sound, no smell, no taste, no sensation, no quality, and no consciousness. There is no ignorance and no exhaustion of ignorance, and so on, up to old age and death, and no exhaustion of old age and death. In the same way, there is no suffering, no origin, no ending, and no path. No wisdom, no attainment, and no non-attainment. Therefore, Shariputra, since there is no attainment, bodhisattvas rely on and abide by means of the profound perfection of wisdom. And since their minds have no obscurations, they have no fear. Transcending falsity, they attain nirvana. All the Buddhas who dwell in the 3 times have relied upon the perfection of wisdom and become true and complete Buddhas of unsurpassable, perfect, and complete enlightenment. Therefore, the mantra of the profound perfection of wisdom, the mantra of insight, the unsurpassed mantra, the unequaled mantra, the mantra which calms all suffering should be known as truth, for it is not deceptive. The mantra of the perfection of wisdom is proclaimed. Teata om gate gate paragate parasamgate bodhi soha. Shariputra, this is how a bodhisattva mahasattva should train in the profound perfection of wisdom. Then the Blessed One arose from that samadhi and said to the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, noble Avalokiteshvara, that he had spoken well. Well done, O son of the lineage, it is so. O son of the lineage, since it is just so, the profound perfection of wisdom should be practiced just as you have taught, and the Tathagatas will also rejoice. When the Blessed One had said this, the venerable Shariputra and noble Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva, and the entire gathering, as well as worldly beings, gods, humans, asuras, and gandharvas, rejoiced and praised the words of the Blessed One. Lama Dangan Ho
Jese Jambe Yama Chase Kange Lugu Dine Kudan Nida Namdara Savi Jene Dugu Jeje Zeje Nije Tukan Lebanse Kanda Sebe Ture Mare Dunga Jeze Roto Guna Puji Tatse Yuna Ruju Yang Desu Ruda Jeru Nimu Nilu Leje Jaru Ruzeji Mari Meze Dume Nyugu Jene Jede Radena Dene Daju Saju Tasu Yede Ludo Jase Tuyo Chada Chada Shuni Jet Meze Jambe Yanadu Arabazana Arabazana Arabazana
Seden Juki
Cheravezeje Talo Dima Mubarazane Kada Niju Yulu Tobaye Lodru Bobe Nawa Tsabuso
Saji Poki
Medo Jan Jira Lenye Ninde Jembade Sanje Yendo Munde Buwaye Roge Namda Yana Jepanayo
Jetsun Lama
Tamba Jena Je Jugu Kala Jinze Jitene Jada Tambe Duje Zemala Zaje Juje Jabo Toso
Yedam Guru
Rana Mendra Lagani Ataya Ame
Sanje Chodang
Soji Nala Janju Baradu Dane Jasuji Dage Chuji Jibe Sonamje Rara Pendra Sanje Ruparajo
Sanje
Je Juna Soji Jonala Janju Baradu Dane Jasuji Dage Chuji Jibe Sonamje Rara Pendra Sanje Ruparajo
Sanje Chodang
Soje Jona La Janju Bardo Dane Jasuji Dage Chuji Jibe Sonaje Dala Benjere Sanje Ruparajo Yeah. 당무소 참대 다다는 무슨 쉬어도 되게 특도는 쉬어로 제가 다가서 참는 내래 류다 다게 류다 뭐 줘다 다게 류다 뭐 줘다 개와줘서 제바나 시진 거나 땅와다 대순 다바 배워스 대과들이 단데는 뭐 자완이 쉬비 거야 다바들이 단 집안이 쉬어이나 사진은 제와이나 아니 집이 거대 자사바지래 쇼라이시는 아주 많아봐 알레자레 디바티잖아 제가 뭐저 디바도 뭐 쉬도 하잖아 아니 쉬비 가면서 무슨 재미있네 승리 좀 받는 디바데 배심 마시는 중이라
Sasiti. Kenge Suna.
너무서 tawaate dere dagi lue tang ma jue tang gewa de son cheba na se je kwa la tang wa tang de son taba pe was gene son de wa de le dan de jiba jena shoro ma ju ma no le sare lo ba ku ni de ba le jibi pro de chibi le de tang bo was le tang bo jiba jena le tang bo zona go re tawa de bebe jiba ma ji ba chen kwa de
So we are in the process of discussing on this verse 4 again.
First four
Which
verses.
is verse 4.
Okay.
Is where we read, giving away to all sentient beings your body, your possessions, and your good gain in the past, present, and future, and protecting, purifying, and enhancing this. No.
제 소설 렌디 왕께서래 제 되제 왕이 또 아니 준주 치마다 되네 로가 근데 대서도做的주비 차조 소용도 장주 준주에다 또 장주 그세 거 다베 시비주로 되나 일로 되다 되는데가 아니 배 시차보지네 봐 도선这些 제단로 되지 준주근데밖에 말해 준주 마상은에 러도 도스다 신주진에 배 그런 도주 털 강화와데 배시 사고지네 이제 나선 받지 아니 교육을 치해서 소행지 되나지로 이내 되니까 다준이 나면 주비 찾고 전에 차대거든.
So Shantidevas, mostly the Shantidevas works are mainly towards giving the teachings on the method aspect rather than wisdom aspect. Just as the teachings of Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life, it mostly talks about the method aspect rather than the wisdom aspect. And similarly here, the teachings that we are discussing, which is the Siksa Samuccaya, the training anthology of Shantideva, which mainly teaches us about method aspect, about how to cultivate bodhicitta, what are the obstacles that we need to tackle to practice bodhicitta and so forth.
제가다 다기를 담아 주던 교도소 제바나 시제거라 담아다 대선 담아 배워 선대선 뭐 소소기를 동야 로조 동야 아니 배 대선도 사배 계산 동야 대양 배 시제거라 봐 제 소소 가보니 뭐 인사하고 뿐이니 인사 많이 봐 시제거라 봐제 땅야다 근데 나 이게 제 간주마 좀 마다와 대양 제 땅야게 그 되려 바바지 마즈 봐도 되려 제 송야다 근데 다 받지가 배워지고 근데 송이 베기라 소소 류다에서 돼 무슨 류다에서 돼 살아는 비스베 첨보 저게 나네 무슨 제 투하지 마다만 소리 담보가 제 투하지 말인데 얘네 무슨 제 마도 있나 제 단대처럼 소소게 동생 배워 주지기 어느 로자야게 나네 등을 수 있는 다다 제 투하지 돼가 무슨 류다에서 돼 다는 무슨 제 투하지 말에 얘네 무슨 something 배야
So giving out to all sentient beings, body, positions, and good gain, visited region, and divine and enhancing this. So, which primarily, giving the instructions on the practice of generosity And when engaging in the practice of generosity, here in this, according to this verse, where it says, your body, your position, and so forth. So when it comes to giving out one's body, at this point, we as an initial practitioner, we are not capable of engaging in such practice, actual practice of giving out one's body at this point. Nevertheless, we are asked to engage in this practice mentally to prepare that yourself, that in the future, if one were to, asked to give away one's body, one should do so when one reaches certain stage where one is able to do that, actual giving of one's body. But at the same time, at this point, we as initial practitioners, this is not going to happen. But rather, it emphasizes more on engaging in practice, mental practice of giving away one's body and so forth, so that we will become accustomed with engaging in that practice.
다저다 다고 쇼음으로 저한테 방법을이야. 방이 동안 만나네. 다를 르더로 동야 때라 소소 르제. 안 소소를 왕대가 롱주제. 소소가 사셔지고 뒤송게 계산도 소리 다 동야지 제. 다 동사가 요리 신지 권하지. 아니 단디 변의 동봉을 르르도 지금 장로이나 만원소이 소소리 되고 르르라 무슨 이야바 땅야 지당 무슨 마땅이냐 소소리 상로부터니 바이에네 똥이 인상에 또봐 똥세 배서 그러나 똥세 배서 소소리 차고면서 차바 제 인상으로다 아니 바게 라바다 강바다 되게 키마다 뭐들 들어서 또 예다를 봐 도수 모여도 땅야 tele tonse pe wasa 제가 말한도 된다는 기대데 가나 소소 류 tonse pe ade 야슈 되래 아니 리베티 거니 건데 페네 다른 동토야 그 뒤에 주는 거로 되네도 동문을이야 소소로 동야 유대야 그 류당 주당 계사 송문이 담문을이야 아니 샤래야 류 tonse pe ade 제 아니 리베 소소게 제 땅야게 니바 공배도 슈침볼 내가 제는 류무서 땅도는 류 무슨 나야와 되네지도 아니 류 땅마세tere.
So what is being given here, as it mentioned in the root verse itself, verse 4, what is being given is one's body, position, and the merits that we have gained in the past, present, and future. So to whom we give all this, in other words, is all sentient beings, without discrimination, without exception. So now here, at this point, as we mentioned earlier, when it comes to engaging in the practice of giving over one's body, it mainly emphasizes on the mental practice of giving over one's body. And we may not be able to engage in such practice, actually giving over one's body to others, but we have to prepare ourselves mentally right from now. If there's any situation, if we were in a situation where we need to give out one's body, one can do so without any regrets and so forth. So therefore, right from now, we need to practice, mentally and prepare ourselves to mature it and to, perfect this practice. Until and unless one reaches the perfection of such practice, it is not possible for all of us to give away one's body to others. Even let alone that would give away one's body, entire body to others, but even a part of one's body is not possible for us to give at this point.
当晚当时还绿当人绿当晚的节嘞，加上这里有送往才的，这送大宝别我是绿当晚绿送往绿大宝节，绿别个节吧是，他当初特别一中间这个绿当晚绿送往绿大宝绿别吧，龙卷当晚龙卷送往龙卷大宝龙卷别吧，给他当晚给他送往给他大宝给他别吧是的，绿龙就送来。一些进就说中年，整个这个都是的。
So here now, it says protecting, purifying, enhancing. So those are three. And the first, we need to giving away one's body, giving away one's position, giving away giving away one's body, and protecting one's body, purifying and enhancing. Similarly, giving away one's position, protecting, purifying, and enhancing. And giving away one's merits of 3 times, protecting, purifying, and enhancing.
但刘牧是当时的过去那些个萨拉那边是把全部都做给拿来的那些，但他们说拿来的他东西别的那几个人把我的那边给接。他绿送往下的，就是送往下的看呢，当我东西边个做了绿送过要给要嘛，我们是当过要嘛了，东西边上去了嘛。他绿路是当同的机呢，那绿的，就说当头个月的，刚有没就当成这个人，得当就要嘛来吃我嘞。别呢，就当一个推了嘛来就把到来绿的送着也不接过来吃我嘞，加上送往下的，所说个绿大不也不接过来也是。我那边个烟呢，当一个对这些那边，你们的人当不来是，我都感觉满足，那绿的，这把个南面当呀当，那出来当了，对解决嘛了，加上送着也不就绿送过来也是，我那边个绿我说，就把当一个对了那边个人当过来，但那就买了就把这绿的，那大伙也会真的送过来也是的，我都是觉得，被绿我是当同的讲，的进。他当时不要他那送过呀，被没有算了，就是等于那样，我们是去经营这样的叫呢，绿的，好像给清过来，绿就是错的，就是把都说错头回来，说开始错头人来说给，你就把给对方给入给，讲话的切头回来的那一句，我说菜人不，这个就是那边说那菜头节我不送过来，菜头节做的。上几个国防主要当，这对方给住，叫老全部是接住，接都拆住，结果了，等待现在拆进步，永远跟对外就有了嘛多，他告诉俺结果就把这个谁呢？等到上几个拆住结完了，拆进落来给有嘛了，管这个是给查过有嘛了。
So the actual practice of giving over one's body can only be done when someone who has gained the bodhisattva's bhumi or bodhisattva's level. Until and unless we have such realizations, it is not possible for us to engage in such practice, such as giving away one's body to others and so on. So when one is on the level of bodhisattva, or when one reaches the bodhisattva's level, one can then be able to practice of giving away one's body. We will not give away body to anyone, whenever, and so on and so forth. The bodhisattvas will look for the appropriateness of time and making sure that giving away this body will be very helpful to others and so on. It is not something that is someone who has gained the bodhisattva's level and is giving their body to anyone or whoever is needed. But importance of, you know, knowing the appropriateness of time, giving one's body and so forth. It is therefore where it says the protecting one's body, here it says. But when one is engaging in the practice at this point, we as ordinary practitioners, we are not unable to engage in this practice of actual giving away one's body and so forth, but we are engaging in the practice mentally to giving away one's body. For this, protecting one's body, the practice of protecting one's body doesn't really require much, but it is to say it again, we, as the practitioner, it is also important to protect one's body, because by protecting one's body, one will be able to sustain one's life so that one can engage in the practice and the practice one's engage in one's dharma practice, in other words. And so without protecting and taking care of one's body, then again it will become an obstacle to one's practice and so on. So therefore, even though that one is not actually engaging in giving away one's body, but we are engaging in the meditation of mentally giving away one's body is a part of Dharma practice. So therefore, protecting one's body becomes important.
Chazan sozo lüde ene tüle mapoji pado anu sumbare este che soma serche daba sede mege war mukova daba che basla war mege war mukova daba che bas samo sozo lüde ene mege war chalaya ene je tan yo mare so war ane no basons ne somdo chazan dendu che yo tena tolaya ane lüde peche tan yo mare and then Matsamba Juba and Del Tolly and the Pujitan Yumares. And then Nilopa Tolly and Sosogi, Ludi Pujitan Yumata, but the Ludi Pujitaya Givi Java Deto, Tendavachava, Pujitaya Mato, and then Miguel Ludi Pujitan Valentini, the Dimanoji. And juji chakduna, and the no toilet with the Pujitan Yumaresne, that Daba said, Jason, Miguel or Charlie with the Pujimatan, and then the Tamago message or Daba said.
So next is purifying one's body here. We talked about protecting earlier, and now it's purifying. What is meant by purifying body here is to not letting one's body, actions of one's body become non-virtuous. That is what is meant by purifying one's body. And in other words, not using one's body to engage in non-virtuous actions or negative actions. And always guarding one's body from engaging in practice, engaging in the actions of three negative activities of one's body, such as stealing, killing, and sexual misconduct, and so forth. And always, protecting one's body from those negative actions. That is what is meant by purifying one's body.
Usually, number one, somebody you had the pewa down at soon taba. Pewa said the devil learned diggy in Josso Sambo Bruni and the Mahaparia, Chipaganami, the Jedang, the David Java, led to a Nebeti or that and the Lude, Pejoya put it down, or then the Lude and then Mahapaya, Josso. Bruni, Yaboy Tolia, Tangni, and the Mahabaria, Nami the Jedengi, the Dagi, 지와지 렌트야 아니 돌아야 비슷한 그래서 또 배워서야 되잖아 마법 배워서 그래 좋아 아니 권위권도 배워서 그래 누누 마법 배워야 되더라 배워서 근데 근데 배워서야 돼 권위권도 배워야 돼 제가 단대를 류대기 류디 주소 정보 그래서 이제 땅에 마음발에 남의 유대 제대기 안 되는 게 지와지 돌 렌트야 되게 돌아 비슷한 그래서 배워서 권위권도 배워 이제 돼
So then the last one is enhancing one's body. What is meant by enhancing one's body is here, enhancing one's body here refers to accumulating a positive cause so that one will have a positive result in the future. In other words, to have a positive cause, referring to cause, here the positive cause is referring to the positive cause of having a positive rebirth in the future. Rebirth consists with 8 ripening qualities. And such, by engaging in the practice of accumulating a cause which gives rise to a positive rebirth in the future, will then be able to work for the welfare of other beings.
제가 남의 유대 제대 지역에 들을 돌아야 배우래서 남의 유대 제대에 다가다 라이행기 되 zambo mamboji brutumegi tendeneji chagwe 남의 유대 제대 되 zambo 다 남의 유대 제 세대 다가지는 데 체리부 대야 지그래다 저도 모두 정말 체리부 대야가 몇이 제거로 와서 체리부 대야 지게 네, 지든이 지고서야 돼. 수인하고 먼저 소소 집하게 수인이 통하는 예동만이 통하게 소소를 류들해주는 수인은 가보러 왔죠. 카도 상보서야 돼. 다 카도 상보. 좋아. 카도 있는 상보 이게 있는 일고 다가나 인수를 내고 싶고 그래. 너야고 이야고. 어다 지 참아 영어 초등학교 때 내가 류되지 주나. 그것이 친구여 버려. 대나 얘기했더니 represent 소발에 제와서 삼보 아니야 지 소소 리트 야고치고 거려 거기 쭉 그래서나 단다리 제스마이나 아니야 라이게 된 루야 토레 니바시라 메고서 represent 소발에 제와이나 아니 랑 되는 데 생이 되는 데 단다게 제 라지고 된 제침보지 루토야게 자신지 렛서요레 represent 소발 제나 되네 다 원주에서 소발는 주발 부분 소발 인조바야 보고 그래 인조바야 보여나 다음 벤줄 세지 말해 벤줄 아니 원주에서 그래 원주에서 그래 간다다 소소를 주노는 주 야고 요이나 아니 야한테서 무슨 대응 보시는 소하나 이래 에 집었다 나더니 봐봐 육대잖아 신투전도야다 어떤데기 토래요 계속 치고 쏜 거요래 아니 시간에서 아니 다 이제 특준 받아야 되지래 특준 받아야 돼 약간 계속 정보 덴바 된다지 표시 담고는 준도네 다 남의 지대는 된다 찍대지래 해서 남의 지대는 찾아 참고해 주거나 아니 특준 받지고 거요래 특준 받아서 뭐 지단에 계좌 지금 구매해 돼야 많이 봐 강시해 봐 돼. 근데 대변도 좀 하자. 근데 지레 좀 봤어야 돼. 근데 지금 언라치 와서 그랬다. 와다 친구다. 안 잡아 친구. 대양 계집벌에 저상 지랑 이거 된자 친구 들어와라. 와다다. 안 계라치 거고 잡아 친구 주고 거래. 이제 막 둘이서 다 지대 지든 데에 안에 저 포이때 포이때 전화하고 쏜 거래. 가나 그 포이때들이 무색에 저거게 근원으로 이제 저거래. 아니 저 조슈 청하고 뽑아치 모르겠어 그래 뽑아치 못다 근데 가다지 저선으로 만들어 집에 그래 현다가 빠주는 것들은 너무 지소여와 되게 차네 그래 근데 제가데 또다 대바서 그러다 무슨 소세이네 저 소소주고데 또다 대마를 주는 내가 가르쳐와나 그 제통해 준 거로 어째서 되네 또다 대바스네 어떤 데기 남의 때 제세다 장리지는 제되네 저래
So with this enhancing one's body, as we mentioned earlier, that is referring to have a positive rebirth, cause of having a positive rebirth endowed with 8 ripening qualities. 8 ripening qualities here referring, well, having such 8 ripening quality will enables one to work for the welfare of oneself and that of other sentient beings. And eight ripening qualities here referring to the first is to have a long life, and second is to have an attractive physical appearance, which is also important. And then if one's physical appearance is very unattractive, and then again it undermines one's working for the welfare of other beings, it says. And then pure lineage, it says, also, which is also important. And then wealth is the fourth, because without having any wealth, one will not be able to engage in practice of giving, practice of generosities. Without wealth and not having anything, will not be able to engage in practice of giving and so forth. And then the fifth one is to honesty. Honesty here is mainly referring to the honesty of being truthful speaker. In other words, whatever you speak and whatever you say is something that should be honest, not being hypocritical, but rather it is honest, whatever it is, it should be fit. And the sixth one is renown. It's also important too. Renown, which is also important. And then seventh one is, this is again during the ancient time, yes, in India, it is always preferred to be a male body rather than female body, because it has less obstacle for the male body, so that you can work for the welfare of other beings without any obstacles. That is, at that time, during the Shantideva's time in India. And then the power is also necessary. Power is also necessary. So those are the 8 ripening qualities, which refers to enhancing one's body.
저는 나중에 답을 세림보 대야들에 저는 세림보 대고에 그거 가르쳐 버렸나 저당도 취쟁이지 이미차니 네 제가 세림보네 도이나 소속에 대장이 되니 취 유리보지 제도에 거기 요리에서 그랬더니 여기잖니 세림보대나 배도 제게 주는 걸 되나 얘기 다주 마쟁이 지나야 집에 저속에 셔슈 자치고 두대에 근데 여러 와져서 근데 도서디네 니체 가서리 와이나 근데 저속에 셔슈 두유진 보지 두투야다 저속에 편도 유진 보나 두고 있어서 되게 전에 근데 세림보 소고에도 기침 머리에 이제 되게 전에 소용 거래
Have a long life is important. So by having long life, one will have opportunity to engage in practice, even perfect one's practice. Without having a long life, with such a short life, one will not be able to perfect one's practice, one will not be able to sustain one's Dharma practice. And having a long life will enables one to giving us a more opportunity to engage in practice of Dharma and also work for the welfare of other beings.
제가 주제 때문에 말이야. 제 디바치 뭐 제대는 거잖아. 언제 소리야. 지금 내가 뭐 제대는 거 이나도 거체 통나야 그러고 같이 가서 통하이나. 그 디바 사야게 뒤에도 농도도 좀 아니 대용하게 내는 바디 como 뭐지 사무고지 대용하게 동에 차노모고 요거로 제가 단대 체리 보고 해야 돼. 아니 잠보지 있잖아요. 주저도 아니 주로야 되는 거 아니 안 체리 뭐 돼야 돼. 주도 도지 시어요.
But the reason for having a long life is to having a more opportunity to practice Dharma. It is for this reason we prefer long life. Otherwise, when someone who is very harmful to society, harmful to the world, harmful to other beings, it is better to have a short life. Why? It is that having so harmful and for being so negative and having a long life is rather accumulating more negative karma and karma for their future life. So it is better to have a short life.
니바데다 카도 상보해야 돼. 카도 상보해야 돼. 카도 상보다 요이나 가르팽거나 아니 두자슨 돼야래야 팬도 요래서 그래. 두자 뭐 소소게 어마도 되투야다. 아니 라니기 그게 제 강 시에버도 저게 야고지 내야기 제가 요래서 그래. 저선 따고 저대 있잖아. 쳐버스게 요마되네. 구버드네 시에고래로. 제가 저선나야 뭐 제가게 카도 상보다 이거는 저래 제자하게 뭐 뭐지 저래야 가신 제거도 제가 소소 가해져서 뭐도 저게 안랑도 나요 비거래야 제 패도 좀 용데 가이 보고 가이 소소 파마고 준을 제자발에 소소 데모 창에 되면 소소 나주 가게 저게 진니 데모다 되니마 제랑도 되는 희용서 본데 렌저로 지냈다 그 패도 용용 어떤 하시게 제 카도 상보다 이걸 보이나 아니 두자 몸보서 랑게 원돈도 도야다 랑게 원도 와서 마세베 랑게 랑도 근데 제바게 템바이는 저게 아니 야보지 내야게 어떻게 다 예주 루야게 차진 지었다고 요래.
So again, the second one is the attractive physical appearance. It's also important to gather disciples, in other words, and because that, as an ordinary beings, it's matter, it matters a lot. So having this attractive physical appearance can gather more disciples so that you can benefit those disciples by engaging in the teachings of what is to be abandoned and what is to be adopted. And it is, this having a attractive physical appearance is also one of the factors that, enables people to listen to us, people to become close to oneself and so on. So therefore, the second one is attractive physical appearance.
네 somebody represent sobre jiwa sayadre represent sobre jile jenroina so the jisa de represent sobre jiyu zang ane je soso muni na yang kanju manju mejepa dena shi shenda zori ne soso ge je karan lawa na shi ene te yendo paglale tawa tene yongore jesa jeta go wale manda was gore jeta go wale manda so 강한 시에만 나시 애들 들리면다 라렌다 그래서 그래. 저는 그 소설하는 제사들 그거 또 가지고 지어서 소설니 동번이 소설하는 장보다 야보주여 봤지. 소설 장보다 야보 영이지 시에는 말랑도 나요 그래야 안들랑도 강나와 나시게 현다 두제 소이네. 근데 가서 들리면다 와네 라렌지만 제지 다버려서 그래. 저는 안에 리뷰도 또 가지고 지어이나 그냥
So good family lineage is also, that this is the third one, good family lineage, or the pure family lineage, in other words. It's also important. It's also become, you know, a cause for working for the welfare of other sentient beings. So here, a good family lineage is not necessarily be someone who was born in a family, very wealthy family, or very famous, or very renowned family, and so on. This is not what we are talking about. Good family lineage here refers to the family who always teaches the value of ethical discipline. And that is what is meant by good family lineage. If one is taken a rebirth in family, then one's actions will be, you know, always, uh, always in accordance with ethical discipline. And so, without having an influence of engaging in actions that are ethically sound, then one will always one will always engage in all kinds of actions that are unethical, which is uh, harmful for oneself and that of other beings. So therefore, the good family lineage is also an important factor for the working for the welfare of other beings.
네 왕주 세대다 왕주의 대바 주나 왕주의 대바 주나 그래다 집빈조 야보여 같이 이바이나 아니 세제 몽보 라니기 온도 되토레서 달려라고 저선 집빈조 주세 빈조 몽보 게 이제 몽보 온도 되토로 와자서 소소로 왕주 야보여나 아니 세제 몽보 온도 되토레서 세제 몽보 온도 되토서 마세 대소한테 멤버제 토레서 멤버제들 상부 은도소데 지 란상보지 간래 토레서 아니 데방자레 데랑자레스네 제 방랑 쓰기도 소소게 현에는 고소래야 지 고소 담보요 소소 변조게 온도 되요 소자 근데 간 라바데 내거와다 저 드네이도 시제 몽보 온도 되토야다 아니 시제 몽보 아니 멤버제 토레서 상부 멤버제다 다 고소 센줄이야 제 나중 디바제 되게리나 아주 디바제 줘 말에 아니 기와 두고래 야보제 그래서 나중 두자제 되게리나 두자 제주만 야보제 그러네 꼭 변조로 테모도 도서를 제자와이나 아니 그줄이야 지 마르게 아니 고송이 자왕에 받서 바빠네 아니 그러네 고송이 자와 삼복 도서 제야 그런 줄이야 아니 디비드만 메요 그래서 tereme beche tota kanda seje mambo wantu dunye seje mambo ane panglo tsayi tu jine kanda gewa le kutu kure sawale.
So then the next one is the wealth, right? We talked about earlier, the wealth. It's also important. So without having any positions, as we talked earlier, we will not be able to engage in practice of generosity. And having wealth and positions, one can gather more disciples and able to, provide what they need, and whatever that is lacking, one will be able to provide. One will be able to facilitate to those beings who need something. And so then, with this, along with this, giving the natural gift, one will be able to give them advice, good advice of, staying away from engaging in practice, engaging in negative actions, and giving advice of engaging in positive actions, and so on. And with this kind of teachings or instructions can ripen the cause of having a better rebirth for those individuals. So therefore, the wealth is also something that is necessary to work for the other welfare of other beings.
Tene tsu tsumba saya tere, tsu tsumba tsu sambo, tsu demba, rangi tsu demba tsu pa saya tere. Rangi tsu demba tsu pa saya tsu sambo sambo nga dambe wale yungu, sambo nga yungu so, nga ki namba xie. Ane, zun, chama, tsu tsu nga chas, zun la juyo mara, tsu tsu che juyo mara, chama che juyo mara, ane nga cha pangu re esne. Ta zun che juyo mara, tsu 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 me yeda le ta, tsu tu ja tena xie tu, tsu tsu sakro, tsu tsu bo. Tene, 마차 세야지 지 되면 이게 좀 뭐든 시에야 근데 여러 당을 저서거든 어디서 들려 마차서 그래 근데 참아서야 돼 지금 맨이게 편집하려야 부시잖니 봐줘야 지시 수저 지시는 뭐 바로 아니 거가서 그래 부시제서 어떤데 제주에 말해서 저자 더서다 좋은데 빵거래 저자 나가는 거지 준 참아서 맞아 더서대 반에는 가도이네 제츠 정보 대바 어드레전에 시행이지 용구를 해서 드레주 용원이나 아니 라니기 감마로 나시 시행기 라니 감마와들야 덴바다 어드나 자그레스네는 소소게 제랑도네 가리 때와이나 onkozo 덴반즈니 텔나는 최인도 케토그레 테네인도 엔데 수수바스네데 란이리아 대유된 대와이나 아니 예도루야게 차지 기초무지래서 또 숨어요래.
So that the next one is being honest. So here the honesty here referring mostly to what you speak. When you speak honestly. In other words, refraining from one's actions of speech, from refraining from this all negative activities of speech, such as harsh words, lying, slandering, and gossiping. So those are the four things that we need to stay away from. Because it is without, if one's speech is, which would become an influence of any one of those negative speech, then one will not become an honest person. So therefore, to work for the welfare of other beings in accordance with Dharma, and honesty is the key factor, which is really, really important. So therefore, whenever you speak something that is true, and should not lie, and do not let your speech be coming under the influence of slandering or gossiping, using harsh words and so on.
근데 왕치가 되다. 남의 지역은 왕치고고야다. 왕치고고야다 지역에. 제가 왕치고 용이 중요하나 아니 제가 고발은 뉴턴 예바스야 줘래. 제가 소속이 간대지 발랍샤이나 아니 빈 조건 거도 라렌다니. 내그래서 줘래. 제가 달려라 왕치고서 까다요 그랬더니 또 아마도 배 랑산이 같이 누구야 준 거라고 제가 아니 소소 야보 진행이나야 왕친구 주요이나 아니 시한도와나 지 야보 차려야 아니 뉴아야 거토고요 제가 대인도 남의 지역만이 나 왕치와 주고 왕치와 주나 소소기 야보 차려야 지 간대지 밖에 시한이야 고와이나 아니 시한다게 배 뉴아니니 배라랬다네 최인도 지역에서 어떠sun 거
So then, other qualities, the quality of power is also needed. Because if, for instance, if a powerful person can say something to someone to do something, and this person will immediately do it. Similarly, as a practitioner of Dharma, to engage in such practice of Dharma, if the instructor is very powerful, then it will also have the followers to really to engage in their practice in accordance with the instructions given by the powerful teacher.
네, 지들들의 제반이 와서 이제 기와지 내통의 약고를 쓰고 그래. 가인보다 제조업의 샤주도 되는 지금 백가래야. 되네. 지 파스로 리다 대dak가래야. 소소래야. 바체도보다 같이 태능을 해서 하고 배면때는 한 파스 저는 루비가래야. 바체도 되는 용서로 왔던 게 있잖아요. 그래서 두셔네 송고를 제가 아니 보이 때는 주나 아니야. 저 소소래 그도 노여래서 또 송고.
So then, another quality is to have a male body condition. This again we talked about earlier. That is during the time of Samuccaya in ancient time in India. So the working for the virtue of other beings, it is more effective as having a male body rather than a female body, and it's also have less obstacles. So therefore, it's one of the factors is to have a male body.
근데 또다 대가지고 다 담아도 또다 대가지고 그래. 또다 대가지고 하는 소소 제 자와 간대지 도와야 되려. 소소래 프로슈 대가지고 그래서 제가 소소를 자와 간대지 들 프로슈 대가지고나 근데 자와 간대지 도와야 되는 루트야다. 소소는 아니 가슴에 봐. 대로도 루트에 되는 게 제가 요즘 뭐 아니 소소 때도 또다 대가지 뭐가 이렇게 좀 그래서 다 라디오 두고네 예dio 두고나 라디오 두고네 또다 대가지고 거기 셴도 자치고 두고네 또다 대가지 거기 해서 루토다 대가지 주나 아니 라이에 되가지고 두고네 엔터에 계속 치고 요래서 또 소.
And also the strength is also needed. So strength is also needed for the to work for the world of other beings. So without having a sufficient physical strength, and one will not be able to work for the other beings.
제가 나 또다 대가지야 침보자잖아 거기면도 소소 류탕보 주고 왔어. 류탕보지. 들리고 왔어.
This strength is here referring to mainly refers to have a healthy body.
그것도 더 되나. 좋아요나.
Can you take some questions? Questions?
What was number 6? Was it renown?
Renown, yeah. So famous, you could say.
What special are we gonna do for Christmas?
So,
Is a question?
What?
You can the change your what? The Karna grace.
아네.
Karna says the same like the Chise is Samarwa.
오늘
The Karna says.
추석 계획은 미팅 하러 게네 무슨 리셔드 게임에다 유튜브 그런 게 누가 뭘 펜터지 들려 지스라 쉐어를 해.
I'm not sure what kind of even in center, but from my side, I always rejoice in what the Jesus has done for humanity. So I rejoice and dedicate all those merits to all beings.
제가 그런 게 너무 뭘 펜터지로. 제가 그래도 가서 리는 말해. 제가 대도 저 그런 베지스라 쉐어를 해.
So I could get a frozen turkey and we could have turkey for Christmas. If you would like, serious, very serious.
Okay. 그 제세 캔데 없어. 제세 캔데 없어. 근데 제세 무시와 어디 제세 캔데 없어.
Not joke.
근데 요즘 다들 쇼유나 자세한 야보 말씀도 하고 그러다.
If the if Jesus is still with us, then he wouldn't recommend us to have a turkey.
What is more of a hamper? No, he's Jewish.
So, these 8 attributes sort of fly in the face of being concerned with the 8 worldly concerns. So on the one hand, you're not supposed to be attached to all of these things, and on the other hand, you're
Absolutely.
supposed to do the things that give you these attributes that you're not supposed to strive for.
Yes.
So could Geshe-la talk about that just a little bit?
Absolutely. That's a beautiful question.
So the
Okay.
could you rephrase it, or what's the, it's a big
One of the
question.
things that as a practitioner, you're not supposed to do is be concerned with the 8 worldly concerns.
Right,
Fame, fortune, all those
Right.
kinds of things. But on the other hand, these 8 attributes are things that you are told here to achieve so that you can practice well. So there's a sort of a conflict between these. And so I'm asking
do you
Geshe-la
think
to
it's
sort of-
attachment or the right?
Let's let him.
Oh, okay.
このアニソン部実は이렇게 저렇게 근데 스테레나 당신은 왜 지금 쪽에 맞아시고 원스 타와스 맞아 연례신 진제리야 지금 쪽에도 맞아시고 원스 뭐 왔어 근데 남이게 된 세대 야고스테는 정말 지금 쪽에서 제대로 시켜지 세르고 봐야 더 당하지 원주 무슨 소고 봐야 무슨 소고 봐야 근데 되게 세상에 아직 그 지금 쪽에도 처음에 웨스트 달려 됐나 게요 하고 보면서 나게 공부도 나 개를 가는 세요 그래서 개를 이어버리시나
니들 주제된 데고요 말은 니들 주제에도 또 랑 채도 지바가 되나 랑 가야 랑 되나 가야 랑 믿는 막 알아서 봐 대내신 또 랑기도 더 내고 봐 남의 제대로 또 신의 제도 뭐니 용어를 신세계가 된 제도 용어를 뭐 랑데 제도 말해 또 랑데 제도 말해
when we talked about 8 worldly concerns, 8 worldly concerns are intertwined with self-cherishing mind. When it comes to these 8 attributes or the qualities that we talked about earlier, it is completely, detached from the self-cherishing mind, but rather those attributes are solely to work for the welfare of other beings. So it is free from self-cherishing mind, self-cherishing thought, in other words.
제가 중도서 되는 자는 수고하는 제가 되는 자는 세다 소소의 채도 되는 자는 제월서 이제 세계가 되는 제도 아니 전화에는 되어버서 그래
For instance, Dharma practitioner in general, and the bhikshus and bhikshunis in particular are advised to have less activities and less desire. However, when it comes to the working for the welfare of other beings, we should have more activities and more desire.
More desire.
So,
Aspiration, in other words.
okay. So if I'm understanding correctly, okay, it's not attachment because your intent has nothing to do with attachment. Your intent is it's the right method or vehicle to obtain the best result. And the best result is for the interdependency of all in all. That you lose yourself in the, if your intent is to do the best for everybody involved, you lose yourself because It's not the best because you want to be the best, it's the best because it's the best result.
面积的那个原点地给的，我的是那个那个那个个查到的嘛，这个上上今天去了，这没得是个那个是Quran上的。
对，大家呢，你的主就是要做让金子团练是吧？就是没做让金子团练了，那么有的就是做先金子团练了，就是让那金子不把关系过，马上金子一定过去些是，先金子团练，先金子是让他在团练的开个强了。
So it is true. So those attributes that we talked about earlier is all nothing to do with the self-cherishing mind. It is solely to working for the welfare of other sentient beings. So therefore, it is in fact it is detached from self-cherishing mind. So therefore, there's no such attachment is involved with it.
也对主要个原来讲就讲过了，那么有点接的，也对主要
Those
有点。
three attributes are solely to work for the welfare of other beings.
So these are the attributes of power then.
That's one of the 8.
But the attributes of power would be all of these 8, so that you would have more power to help sentient beings.
So the
Is that correct?
往就送不完的面前，往的也就是能的给发的那用的个是多送不回。
那个有嘛？往前不有呢，卡多是不有那个有嘛？车里面那个有嘛？
Yeah, so although that you may have a power, but you may not be able to have a long life, and you may not be able to have attractive physical appearance and so on. So I don't think having a power.
Maybe power is not quite the right word.
Yeah.
Like a state of reflection.
Well, it seems that self-cherishing mind is self-cherishing an illusion, whereas this is not self-cherishing an illusion. This is giving you a potential for helping other sentient beings. Is that correct?
The kind of foundation within the young boy, the social wanting to say, wanting to share the day, the wish can be done. wanting 好的，光单亲不约的身边闲聊判别结果是当别上，那个可说对有的竞争面效果的可能的。往前情况也是往前不送了，但是往哪里？
妈的，他往前不永远的，我就没见面过嘛了，是吧？加上往前不就往前前不永远给，就是我们都住了，所以就是我们都住呢，所以给，他希望我们讲的，希望我们的所往前不永远给，就是啥呢？就是成为呢，希望什么的所往前不就用过了的。 说的这个的，第一个呢，我就结果说的呢，他那个过嘛是吧？就可能我嘞就说的，啥时候的，对就说的旁边这个的说，就我是往前不就来用过嘞，往前不的用过弄错过的，他那个就给嘛是吧？往他前不的时候，去现在是可能门对性的地方都了解的用到，我们是吧？真的就是。
So here the power is. It's not someone who wants to become a powerful person and do all kind of things, and not like a politician that we're working here. We're not talking about that. Here, this power is mainly referring to the power, whatever the power that you have. It's just the power that is result from one's past karma. It is not that you want to be a powerful person, but one's positive karma of the past that makes you powerful, so that power can help other beings. Not just you wanting to be powerful and you want to do whatever you want to have the power. So that is again completely different when we talk about the power.
제가 왕 친구 유알라 되는 주소를 가르치고나 제 군조당 라마당 캠보당 대나시기 제 소속 파마당 더서래야 아니 그게 지위도네 니에불이 샤도루야 더서데 지와 슈만을 써서 아니 배왕 친구 유야기 아니 주제 기체가 있어.
So this power is very result, but the power that we are talking about is the result of having a devotee to one's guru, abbots, one's spiritual guidance, and one's parents. That's a result of that.
양로준들이요. 아무도 다 가서 가요. 신하다는 부tro망 총들은 요하면서 부tro망 총치부터 자고요. 저선들은 나네야. 뭐가 지금 당분간 로주를 제가 그런 것들은 부tro망 뭐 보여서 제가 짐바다네. 또 지니 지와이 다 주마지가래 부tro망 상막에 나게 변보대 그런 내가 변보지가 지와라서 그래. 다 정말 그 안도 두고도 저 대이나 뭐래 그 부tro망 총에서는 그 짐바다네 상말에 짐바다네 그 땅으로 제가 대인 지금에 뭐 발에 제가 지금까지는 그런 부tro망 상막으로 코르지 그런데 잡고선 나시 어떻게 제가 레벨로 주의로 어떤 나시 연구했다.
So even among the animals, there are, although they are same species, but some of them are more powerful than others. And such animals will not have some kind of, desire to be powerful to, do whatever they want. But this happens because of their past life.
So you're using the word power, is this the power to influence the situation now? Does that make
Power to influence the situation now.
the situation of now?
Okay.
If I'm part of what I'm hearing is so that your karma, your past karma, is your interconnectedness with the past and the present. Actually, your karma gives you your intent, and the time of now gives you the opportunity to reflect and enhance that. Is that what I'm hearing?
One thing so 생님의 레기 원데 소소다 원심 샤샤베나 원디기 간다 원서 예르디기 간다 원조 표준 소리를 되게 단대 내가 교와 당도 거를 내리스
당도 그래. 제가 원침보 원치침보 자와라 뭐여기 레단 되어 요거를 책이 쟁 소속 제당 전이네 누가 열어. 봐. 공무지리도 책이 처음 전에 안주로 원침보 전에 표현하지.
It can change the situation, of course. So the having part situation, the situation right now can be changed by having this power, because the power that we have right now is as a result of one's past karma, and also there's circumstantial condition to it as well. Not only but solely to past karma, but also the certain circumstantial condition is involved.
So is this past life karma or previous, like what you do as a youth, what you do up until now?
제가 몸에 내세도 삼보 생물만 고쳐고 다 제대로 고쳐 들어와 생물에 내서도 다 지와 공막을 내지는 거를 생물에 내다 몸에 내 가가는 진
This could be a karma of your in early part of your life. It could be a karma of your past life or in numerous past life as well.
제가 단대로 쳤어는 이네 가지고 원침보 제모제 표현하는 지지도래야 아니 가서 그래 강에 최대야 되는 연구도 가지게요 소소원체 쇼칭을 벼졌다는 제설 행자들은 도도
And then also we have some powerful people who can be very helpful by using their power to the society and become a very, helpful. And then on the other hand, there are some powerful people who become very harmful by misusing their power, in other words, and become very harmful to society and community.
I'm curious about number 7, how it helps to be male to help others. And I'm curious if we were in a nunnery and not in a monastery, how that number 7 would be taught. So in my experience, every time we have a teaching that says it's better to be a man, I just kind of think, well, this is ancient India. We don't all think like that now. But the teaching, the teaching is still done without any kind of explanation to make it more current. And I really think that that's a downfall of current. I know we have to adhere to a text, but why can't there be something added that makes it more inclusive for women in the practice of Tibetan Buddhism today? So I think that women have the capacity to be far more helpful to other human beings because of their capacity to be mothers. But that's not part of the teachings at all. And I find it extremely curious why we just kind of dance over these moments when we're told we should be hoping to be male next time.
And more pray can you thinking to enjoy still carrying just until to stay in an absolute to study day. Yama touching they say they do the Cavalia, that is the polia. Yeah, there's a molia. That's don't you don't take it. Go, you make your heart go. Coron, Conacha the chick. Looks like not the evidence. Take a rank chip, regular mother. So that the things are detail. The things of sip, Coron Jamba to Shasha. Changing then, Chairman, Chair, Cavalry, Nimo, Messer was taken. Because when you buy the Tango Sherina, who could you buy the Cavalry, Kagan was, but Jim Cavalry was. She gave me taken the moments.
killing me there. Also, true machine to some more. Yamuzo, Jayong Son Tango Ware, Chisonsagi, Dan, Sumi do, to the Mosea, Hago Peggy. Pena, Junju, Chimore, Tanaji, Chimela, Chaga, Sonoria, Chimeg Dan, Tesoria, and the Nimuta with the Summer, Chetan, Teso Guardian Summer, and the Kodo Sunsa de Rajun Port Soria, somewhere, the Rajun Port, the Sun be collecting, Chabakis of you, Jinzo Pemegite, Charter Rajupum in Havana, Chetan Port Soviet. Chabadoya chido peme itene nimushia. Tayam peme chili shebe karaya po itene nimushia. Takanda ji pomani peti chichaya ji chasen doya chedo. Sunsa ting chani tene yoto so de amoto koto yewat chego gore. Chine tene junju sombe majunju majende lodin so sombe kare ko tuju jaga gne tude tanana imanso de chago ya mare. Jabok Jeju Kare, Jabok Kare. Today, Kotuju Lumbag Naya, Pamazing the Ton, Jobore. 是吧？北面这个同学我，这罗中妹妹，他可对结果做个了，一个片子，这虫子节休息了吧？这个对虫子节个了呀，这不是到了我的钱那干那，他可能个对那穷多，这他那有的可能，这对了吧呢，那送下去他那家伙嘞，这个特别喜欢的可能哪两这个，热中之类。这种在那个钱呢，这送啥个担当，各队的家给，各队的家给，弄这个担当，在这就他呢，对他对象就送下去的嘛的，这当个金融个钱呢，在那边买把的这个差的，这里这个嘛的，
그래서 그들이 교회단 가르치던 거였어요. 교회단 건강해야지 뒤에 시에도 미야서 왔어요.
他等着给当嘛说就是对象的些嘞，本面你上当这个嘞，这个跑店里你们的，跑里差不多多少钱多，跑这个呢，毛给店里你们的，说的差不多的这个是，可看不到他过的这个是。
So we often find in certain teachings, especially in the Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life, where we are asked to find the faults of the woman's body. It's mainly at the time when Shantideva was giving these teachings, as the audience are mainly a bhikshus. So for the bhikshus to overcome their, eliminate their attachment towards a woman, he suggested the bhikshus should think about the faults of the woman's body. If he were to given those teachings to the group of nuns, then he would have said the same thing to the nuns by saying, think about the faults of the male's body. So it is all the time of the teachings they are given and the particular group that they are given. It is not that the Shantideva is actually denigrating or just, belittling the woman's body or woman's. This is not at all. In fact, there's no such teachings that could be found generally saying that women are lower than the men at all. Because here, if you look at these teachings, the teachings in this chapter, there was the Siksa Samuccaya. So at that time, as we talked earlier, in ancient time in India, the women are said to be more powerless because those days, who is powerful, who can conquer, who can be a king is based on physical strength. And so physically, to have a battle and to become a violent is men are much better than a woman. So that's why they taught, their power is very much based on the physical strength and those at that time. But now, when we see certain teachings, we always need the interpretations without actually changing the actual, changing the original, sentences or original, even the word. We need, better interpretations to that. Because when you look at the overall teachings of the Buddha has never said that woman is, inferior than the man at all. Particularly when it comes to the teachings of the Vajrayana. If we talk bad thing about a woman, it actually degenerates your 100 root vows in general. Of course, we can talk about one individual who is not being very good. We can talk about that. We cannot say in general, women are not good, women are this and that. We cannot say that. That's a very big result. Big, it should be when, in fact, it says And in the Tantric teachings, it never says if you say bad thing about the male that you were, of course you will accumulate negative karma, but it never says that your root vows of the Tantric root vows will be degenerated.
Remember,
Then I
women couldn't
did
vote in American.
ngāga tsatung nāyadane, pime mewa, pime mera tāngani tsatung yi sāwara. Chāsam pime tsingdara, chūyā tāya pāyā mera tāng chōgā mārasi. Pime mera tāngani tsatung yi sā. Pime tsingdara pē, ane kāra sāwara. Chī pē, sēmba kāpo yuwa tā tēndāki, chē wara mātā pime ya, mera tāng, tēndā chē ngā tsatung shē wara.
So it's all of those high Shiva Tantra teachings, if you look at Shiva Tantra, high Vajrayana teachings, and Anutava Yoga Tantra teachings, but it always, if you look at all those, the root vows of the Tantra, Vajrayana, high Shiva, Anutava Yoga Tantra's root vows, it will always, you'll find this, if one denigrate or talks bad about women in general, you degenerate your root vows.
So I'm understanding that we are studying a specific text, and this is a section of this text. And that, but what I'm hearing is good confirmation, and I agree that the overall, the teachings of the Tibetan Buddhism does not denigrate women. However, when we get to these sentences like this, that is going to be a male, then I say to myself, I don't believe that. So it's okay to every once in a while say, oh, I don't believe that, even though it's Shantideva that's saying it. Is that the conclusion that we're coming to?
Good. Well, this is, I think on the something that patient on the state of the tea chair give it and go to love because it can deal with Malaysia mess. Malaysia men to grow us an order of us. Give it things is your put it in was give it things. Give a put it things was which were Yava in large. So with these Malay jet of windows a day. Got the chip in it. So someone Malay Majin and Kramar was there. Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. Well, I have a dear friend of mine, when we got to a certain section, and I can't remember what we were studying, but it was.
Malay considering this as
Ora, ina shonzo na ma sunju sambo, jajong ne su de yimi xie dang, kapwa yimi xie wei ra. Rajung tenzo la xie wei sambo, chi pime ge chor ni mo xie. Pime ge ten xie wan de raju po zo ni mo xie, te wo chu, chi penzo chaba da chi do gaja ge bang tan su ra. Chi ba rajung po zo da, raju po zo de chaba mo pime ge ra. 저도 permette ni mo xie chaba do ya che.
It's always important.
Permette ni xie wan de chaba po ni mo xie wa.
Give interpretations, the explanation. We need to know how to explain that. It's not just explanation that we cannot create ourselves, but it should be based on the teachings of the Buddha himself. And the interpretation should be, but if you look at, as we talked about earlier, that the guided philosophy of life, where he talks about importance of finding the faults of the woman body is to detachment. He talks about the detachment towards, to have a detachment towards the not having attachment towards the woman. It's directly, taught to the bhikshus, someone who are nuns and they are bhikshunis. Then we have to talk certainly. What is the use of having attachment of the male's body? Think about their body. Made of what their body is made of, what is there to be attached to, and so on and so forth. So this is very neat.
I understand context is important, but so I'm really talking about, and I'm really pleased to be able to have this conversation. But I remember when we came to a similar moment in a number of years ago in a teaching, and one of my dear friends, she did not come back to the teachings for months,
Yeah.
months, because she was so offended, and there wasn't any explanation. There wasn't any kind of, let's put this into context.
근데 여기서 아주 그 누구지 내가도 말한 동무지 조금 대한学搞的呀，那里会点的呀，就两百元说多一点的，但是两百带的这个，数据比较难的呀，比较难嘛，这样的，可是这个讲，通过这个那些单位去都希望的你们不学，这国从在这那些方，确实我发现的嘛，就是，那就是做的出去。
제가 그래 나도 쇼를 좀 될지 오케이
Yeah, that's
쇼를
true.
기적스러워
Yeah,
밑에
we really need to give them a good explanation. It's very important. Just not solely relying on what the word is spoken. Just original word, but we need an interpretation to that as well.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So, years ago, there was a discussion about this.
I think.
So we have to.
Yeah, thank you.
And one more thing very quickly. Next Saturday is Christmas Eve. Some of us have family obligations.
Absolutely.
The next Saturday is New Year's Eve, and some of us have obligations. Gisela and everyone, should we meet those next 2 weeks, or should we cancel class for 2 weeks?
I think
Cancel.
we cancel.
We'll cancel for the next 2 weeks. I will send out an email on that.
Şimdi Cuma dünyayı düşüncelersin. Dünyayı.
So on page 23 and 24, and then finishing with auspicious on page 28. Dagi jine
사르게 와디 대단조와 콜라가메다 제가 제스로 산드바에 팀베 님보르 노스제요
Saji uti
조제메도 나르라니 예니네 제마디 산지 신도 만데 보아이 루게나다이 나제바쇼
Dewa kundu
야달라 안드라메 주제 별라노 주제 사단람 제제데 라소네 도제 자기 고마니 도쇼
Yedam Guru
라노메라라 가니야다야메
Jetsu Lame Kutse
라데제 나가테네 주주지마다 로산테베 주메 사소지 로에 메세다도니 주루지
Gangri Rave
거의 제가수 배단대와 만르주에 제레스마데세 자소이 야베세데마노 유로지
Jampel Pam
제다 제바나 고도산보대양대지 대사군지 제수다로지 외와대다 담지라토모 대소시베 겨와 담지 모와 가나 저도 바데 다기 기회 사와데 괜찮 삼보주제로도 모와라지 Thank you.